Alright, welcome back to LandA's house, guys. It's just gonna be me today. So I was looking online, checking out some YouTube videos to see if there's any kind of like recipes that would help me save money. So as you guys know that we're on a budget. A lot of things that we do around the house, we try to save money, and that includes the cooking portion as well. So I was watching this YouTube channel from Tasty. They were doing a 3 ingredients recipe, and today I'm going to make souffle omelet on a budget. Let's do it. Alright, let's get started. So the 3 ingredients that I have today are eggs. I'm going to use 2 today. Some salt. And it's supposed to be butter, but I don't have butter, so I'm going to use salad oil. So those 3, and that's all you need. Obviously, if you use butter, it's going to taste better, but you know, when you're on a budget, you can't buy certain things. Plus this quarantine, we're trying to stay inside. So yeah, I'm going to have to work with what we got. And also, by the way, guys, I don't have a whisk, so I will be using a fork. I highly don't recommend it. Just wanted to show you that it's possible. If you have a hand mixer or a whisk, we highly recommend you using that. But if you don't have it, just use a fork, or I have this metal chopstick like things. I'll go ahead and use those. Alright, let's get started. First step, we're supposed to crack the egg. So let's do that. I saw this on YouTube as well. When you hit the eggs with each other, one's gonna break for sure. It's recommended doing this because it's supposed to not leave any shells. Supposed to not leave any shells in. That didn't work. I'm just gonna do it normally. Let's do that. Today I'm just gonna use 2. That's all I got in the fridge. In the video, he is using a hand mixer, so it's probably easier to just keep it as it is. So for my video, I have to use a fork instead of whisk, so it's going to be harder for me to whip this. In that case, I'm going to separate the yolks and the egg whites, and I'm just going to whip the egg whites separately, and then I'll mix in the yolk after. What I usually do is I just use my hands to separate these. So let's be careful and try not to break it. And get all the egg whites separated. Okay, just like that. Alright, now so I'm gonna whisk this egg whites until it's fluffy, and then I'm going to mix the yolk into the fluffy egg whites after. Before whisking it, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I made this before. You really don't need a lot. Maybe like a pinch, and it's probably going to be enough. And you just whisk until it's fluffy. Well, in the video, they said it's going to take about 7 minutes with a hand mixer. Last time I did it, it actually took about 2 hours. But that time I did not separate the yolk from the egg white, so that's why it took a long time. But I think today it's gonna be a little bit shorter for me. So if you're doing it without a whisk like me, I recommend you separating it like this. If you have a hand mixer, don't worry about separating it. Just go for it and start mixing until it's fluffy. I'm sure you guys are at home, not able to go to gyms and stuff like that. I recommend you guys trying to make this, since it's a great forearm workout. And it gives a good burn, like a nice burn. You guys should try it. It's about 10 minutes now. It's a good fluff, almost to the point where it's like thick enough for me to pinch it up. So I'm gonna Mix it just a little bit more and should be good. So I know I'm in the middle of making the souffle omelet, but I just wanted to do another one that requires whipping and also was featured in the same video that I was watching. I'm sure a lot of people tried it already. It's a little trendy right now. It's going to be the dalgona coffee. So 3 ingredients as well. The instant coffee, some sugar, soy milk for our case because Lyu-chan is lactose. 2 portions of instant coffee, so that's 1. And that's 2. Okay. So I don't like too much sugar, so I'm just gonna use 1 sugar packet. Okay. And I'm going to put 2 scoops of hot water. You know, living in Japan, the best thing about it is you could drink sink water. That means you get unlimited water and hot water, as long as you're paying for your gas bill. So, yeah. So it's about 15 minutes now whipping. I don't know why it took a little longer than the egg yolk this time, or the egg white, I'm sorry. But it's about there. I'm just gonna stop here, and now time to cook the omelet. So here's the egg white that's fluffed out. So in here I'm going to mix the egg yolk and then put it in. It's usually not recommended because the fluff does die down if I do this, but to be honest, it's easier this way, so I'm just doing it. So yeah. Okay, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Alrighty, let's start cooking. So the frying pan that I own is a little big. We only have 1 frying pan because obviously on a budget. If you have a smaller frying pan, I would recommend that because when it's big like this, it kind of like flattens out. It's kind of like spreads out until it's like to the edge, so it doesn't get as thick as you want it to be. Another tip: wash as you go. It's gonna help you in the long run. Thank you guys for waiting. Let's cut to the scene. So yeah, here you go guys, the souffle omelet and the dalgona coffee. So I had problems with the camera, so the omelet kind of died down on me. It actually turned out pretty well when I first got it out of the frying pan. The dalgona coffee looks amazing as usual. If you have a hand mixer or a whisk, it would be much easier. So I highly recommend everyone to try it out. So yeah, this was my 3 ingredient souffle omelet and dalgona coffee review. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned to our next video at LandA's house. Goodbye.